The following program contains strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised. Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, a dentist drilled by his exes.
These two used to hate each other, but now they've joined forces. Did she tell you that he had plans to tie you up, pull your toenails out, and torture you?
Yes.
That's not true.
But it's not just two women.
Next thing I know, he's kicking me out of the house again.
Rick seems to be facing a firing squad of exes.
I have nothing but love and respect for this man.
He calls you Smelly Shelly. He makes fun of you to everyone.
Is he the bad guy?
You say he locks you in a room, won't let you out, but then you start dating him again.
I did start dating him again.
Or the fall guy?
Have you given him reason to be scared of you?
I don't think so. I'm scared of them.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things. Stand by, Dr. Phil. I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction. 5, 4. I am not giving up on you. Go, Dr. Phil. Usually when you go to the dentist, your biggest fear is a cavity or a root canal. But my guests today say they are scared of Dr. Rick for far more dangerous reasons.
My ex-husband Rick is dangerous, violent, mean, aggressive, unstable, and has multiple personalities.
I live in fear every day that my ex-boyfriend Rick could kill me.
Rick has the ability, definitely the ammunition and the weaponry, the desire and the will to kill me.
Rick is a monster that has to be stopped.
My 16-year-old son recently, in the last 2 weeks, received a text from a former girlfriend of Rick's. Linda said he had made a purchase, $2,000 worth of bullets. He had also bought a $5,000 bow and arrow and had his guns laying around his house, bullets loaded, ready to go.
Here's my bow, a pistol, another pistol, AR-15.
And told her, these aren't for target practice. I think you know who these are for. He fully intended to kill both Laura and I now.
I was very afraid. Rick took his threats to the next level when he purchased the ammunition and the crossbow. I looked at that as an intent to carry out the threat he had made.
Laura asked her point blank, what are you trying to get out of this? Are you angry at him? She said, no, he's made it very clear that he's lost everything and he's about to kill both of you. After we realized that the lawyers, FBI, local police, ATF, DA's office were not going to help us, we decided to reach out to Dr. Phil.
Because I know that he has dedicated quite a bit of his career to supporting the fight against domestic violence, and the system has failed. I am hoping that he can tell us what to do.
Either Dr. Phil could help us, or at least everyone would know that if anything happened to us, it would be Rick's fault.
Well, Dr. Rick says he's not a danger. He says he's a well-respected dentist in his community who is being targeted by his two exes who used to hate each other but have since joined forces, and he says they're just plotting against him.
Nicole and Laura are complete liars. They're very violent, very vengeful, conniving, and really arrogant. I'm a well-respected, successful dentist. I'm a sportsman. I probably own about 10 guns and probably have 1,000 rounds of ammunition. I go out to the gun range and shoot targets, that's all. I've never been a violent person in any way. Nicole was an extremely violent person. While I was married to Nicole, I called 911 9 times to come to the house because of violence that she had inflicted upon me. My ex-girlfriend Laura is a crazy stalker. When I broke up with Laura permanently, she freaked out very much so. That's when she took her lies to Nikki, and they put together a whole court case to try to take away custody of my son. Laura knows that the most important thing in my life and my greatest love in my life is my son. And that's where she's attacking me because she knows that that's where she can hurt me the worst.
I don't understand how all I do is attract crazy women, and my life has been miserable because of Laura and Nikki.
Okay, so you say that you're the victim here to these crazy women, to quote you.
Oh, yes, sir, definitely.
So these two used to hate each other, but now they've joined forces What's the agenda? What is it you have that they want?
I don't know. Laura and I had a big argument, and I decided I didn't want to see her anymore. I broke up with her, had nothing else to do with her. And as soon as that happened, she contacted my ex-wife, and they put this great big story together in an affidavit. And
okay, now you two were married.
Yes, sir.
But you've been apart for 13 years,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And your son was 3 whenever you left.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you came in after these two were split up, right?
Correct.
How are you involved in all of this now?
When we broke up in July. We were coming home from dinner, and Rick assaulted me. The police were called.
Not true.
You've seen
Absolutely
the police
not
reports.
true. Did not assault
This
her.
was in July? Okay.
On July 12th.
Right.
I went home, recovered, got a text on July 22nd at 9:45 at night from his son. And it said, I have finally left my dad's for good, and I never want to see him again, and I am so sorry for everything he's done to you.
Is that when you talked to her?
That was the first time I had ever spoken to her.
Did she tell you that he had plans to tie you up and torture you?
She is, I've heard it before. It was years ago. He recorded himself, and it was actually used in our divorce, that he wanted to put a bullet in my head and put me in the ditch.
That's not true.
Oh,
okay,
we have
but what did she tell you about him wanting to pull your toenails out and torture you?
She said he has made numerous comments. If he could get away with it, I would be the first person he would kill, and he had a very detailed plan of how he would torture me in the first 24 hours and then kill me. And he's also made these statements in front of my son.
If he said these things to you about a woman he was with before, I got to tell you, I'd be gathering my things and looking for the door. Why did you stay with him if he's telling you how he's going to torture and kill the woman he was with before you?
It was an ex-wife. I don't...
Oh, well. Seriously.
It bothered me, but he was a different person at that time.
Did you say all that stuff?
No, of course not. Wouldn't say things like that. No.
You've said in front of our son that you planned on killing me.
No, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would never say something like that in front of him.
Okay.
Okay, you're saying they're just making all this stuff up?
Yeah.
Did you break up after the July?
I never spoke to him again after that.
Has he been stalking you?
I have learned since that he stalked me quite a bit while we were together. Has he stalked me right now? I don't know. I do know that he told the last ex-girlfriend since the July episode that he wanted to drive her past my house to show her where I lived. I think that's odd.
Did you do that?
No, sir, not that I remember.
I think you would remember if you drove
No.
the girlfriend past
No,
another girlfriend's house and said, I just want you to know where she lives.
No, I didn't do that, no.
Y'all are worried about him, right?
We are concerned, yes.
You think he is a danger. Why?
We think he is a danger because, much like the text message came to me from his son that he had left his house, a couple of weeks ago, his last ex-girlfriend texted his son and said, I've left your dad's house for good. He's angry. He's violent. She sent a text.
I sure would like to see these text messages.
Okay.
You know?
So she sent the text and said, she talked to me and said he just purchased $2,000 worth of ammunition, and he told me he's killing both you and Laura.
Well, we have that text message, actually. Linda is the name of the girl, and she recently sent Nicole and Rick's son the text message that said, he will kill someone or have someone killed by someone else soon. I will never take that chance again. He really loves his guns and can't wait to use them.
It's a script. They've tried this in the divorce. It's the same.
Linda's involved in the script too?
It's the same script. They say the same thing.
Are you vindictive towards him because he broke up with you?
No, in fact.
That's when it all started.
When we broke up, that was it. Police reports had been filed. I had not talked to an attorney. I had not done anything until I received a text message from his son.
Let's go back to the police reports.
Okay.
Okay? There's been 2 incidents that happened between her and I.
Right.
Both times the police were called by me.
He says that you were drunk, screaming, "I love you," while you were throwing stuff around the room. This is in November. Kicking the walls. You bit his finger. That you kicked his walls with wooden clogs on. You took off the shoe and beat him with it. And then the foot and shoe got caught in the wall, but you just kept kicking. He called 911, and that he had defensive wounds, cuts, and bruises on his chest from the clog.
Well, I provided you with those police reports.
Right. And you said that he smashed your phone, that he grabbed you, dragged you into the bedroom, and wouldn't let you out.
That's correct.
And that you hit the wall trying to make noise for help because you wanted to leave, and that you eventually busted a window to get out. All of this while your son was hiding in a closet.
My son was in the house, yes. I didn't know at the time he was hiding in the closet, yeah. And within 3 days, she called me, wanted to meet me at a restaurant. Hey, let's get over this. Let's talk this over.
Is that true?
No, it's not.
And then we dated for almost another year after that.
Okay, so this is a guy that says he's going to torture her and then kill her, then locks you in a room, won't let you out, but then you start dating him again. Have you given him reason to be scared of you?
I don't think so. I'm scared of them.
Well, if these two women aren't enough for Rick to deal with, we're going to add a third ex, Linda, the one we were just talking about. That's next.
The first time Rick was violent with me, he threw me against a wall and it cracked the sheetrock.
My ex-husband, Rick, literally pulled my legs out from underneath me and slammed me into the wall, and then stood over me and almost broke my finger trying to take my wedding ring off.
Tomorrow.
I hate my grandpa.
You say that he molested you in the bed with your grandmother.
She doesn't want to admit that she knew.
For over 10 years,
Your grandpa wouldn't do that.
he violated her.
We had a loving relationship and she destroyed it.
She destroyed it. You're saying that she's a liar.
I didn't see anything, but I'll be damned if I'm going to stand out here and listen to your lies.
That's tomorrow.
While I was married to Rick, I was completely under his control. Rick did not allow me to do anything alone. I worked at his office. If I went to the gym, he accompanied me. If I wanted to go to the grocery store, he would be waiting outside for me to finish.
When I was dating Rick, he isolated me from all of my friends, and eventually he became jealous of the time I spent with my own daughter. Rick definitely wanted me to leave my job and my home and spend 100% of my time with him. He wanted to control every minute of it.
Well, imagine a guy's ex-wife and ex-girlfriend teaming up to plot against him. My guest Rick here says that's what's happening to him, and it's literally his worst nightmare. His exes accuse him of being abusive, but Rick says their claims are absurd. He says there's a script. They've all worked this out, and if anybody is abusive, it's the two of them abusing him. Take a look.
My ex-husband, Rick, in 2001 began actually shoving me, pushing me, knocking me down. There was a time that we had an argument. I went to go up the stairs to get away from him. He literally pulled my legs out from underneath me and slammed me into the wall, and then stood over me and almost broke my finger trying to take my wedding ring off. The final fight with Rick happened when I had just purchased computers. He went to the garage, immediately grabbed the computers out of the back seat of my car, took the boxes out, and went into the middle of the driveway and tossed them as hard as he could into the sky and just let them crash on the ground. My mom came. She saw what he was doing and started screaming at him. He grabbed her by the shoulders and pinned her against the wall, told her to get out of my house. She went and got in her car and called the police. By the time the cops got there, I was standing behind the door, and he just pinned me up against the door, and the cops were talking to him, and he said, "My wife just had too much to drink. It was just an argument. Y'all don't need to come in." I was too scared to say anything to the cops because I was scared he was going to kill me.
Okay, now I'm going to let you respond to that, but let me get this other one out so you can respond to them both. Now, that was Nicole, and we had talked about the situation with Laura, and we're talking about
That was all a complete
police
lie.
calls to holes in the walls. Here's what his ex-girlfriend Laura claims happened in their relationship. Let's get this all out, and then I'll let Rick respond.
The first time Rick was violent with me, I had gone over to his house and my phone rang, and he grabbed my phone and wanted me to answer it right away. I kept asking for my phone back, and at that point, he got up, slammed my phone down on the cabinet, and I reached to get my phone. Rick, give me my phone back, and when I did, he threw up his arm and slammed me against a wall. I hit the wall so hard that it cracked the sheetrock in the wall. I fell and my tailbone hit the marble floor.
As I was going through her phone, she decided she wanted it back and went to grab at it and hit me in the side of the head, knocked me into the wall, reached up and started grabbing my shirt, ripped my shirt off, at which point I pushed her off of me and she slipped and fell and landed on her rear end right here. She jumped up screaming that I pushed her down. She caught me in front of the door and she took her clog off and she hit me in the chest and all around my head and all over my body with her clog. She took a picture off the wall and smashed it over and glass shattered everywhere. Kicked a hole in the wall about that big.
I was banging on the wall. Help, let me go, let me go.
Laura was hitting me. I raised my hands up to defend myself, and she grabbed my hand and she bit my finger. I had scratch marks all over my front, all over the back, bruises.
When it was clear he wasn't going to let me out of the door, I busted a window and escaped.
I've given a nickname to Laura because of her behavior. They call her Crazy Train.
Okay. Now, that was the first time. This is November 13th.
That is November, yes.
Okay, and you told us on the tape what happened. She said what happened. You said what happened. But whatever happened, y'all made up. And then in July, when the wheels came off again, and you had this other incident.
We went out for dinner.
We'd been out to dinner, and we came home, and we were sitting in the room, and I said, could you just please leave? I don't feel good. My back's hurting. Can you please leave? She doesn't want to leave. So I asked her again to please leave. And then I asked her again a little strongly, can you please leave my house? Well, I get up to walk to the front door. When I get to the front door, she runs over and grabs me, and she's pulling and pushing. So at that point, I walked back and sat down on the table, the coffee table, and I made a 911 call. My girlfriend's here. I don't want her to be here anymore. I've asked her to leave. She doesn't want to leave. In the background, she's screaming. I don't know if I can say those kind of words on TV. She gets ready.
Did you get 7 stitches in your foot?
I did.
From kicking the door, yeah.
Did you get a concussion?
Yes, I did.
And you also say that Nicole's story is all lies.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you about that, yeah.
You've never done anything that they're saying that you've done. This is all made up out of whole cloth.
And sitting in the truck that night,
Unbelievable.
she started getting kind of argumentative, and I was trying to tickle her, and come on, don't do that. And I turn around, and she hits me in the face.
Oh, my God.
She hits me in the...
That's the best one I've heard.
Her mom walks outside, sees this going on. Her mother calls and says, there's a drunken man beating his wife. So the police show up. They take her around the corner. They talk to her by herself. They come back and they go, Dr. Harris, do you guys think you can work this out? Yes. And the guy looks at me and says, because I got a red spot on my face. And he says, Dr. Harris, you call us if you need us. Yes, sir.
Your story's getting better with age. They really do. That
Okay,
never happened.
I want to add another X to the conversation here. Linda was Rick's most recent girlfriend. She's joining us on Polycom. Linda, are you there?
Yes, I am.
I've got Nicole and Laura here that are saying they are scared for their lives, that this man is violent, that he's toxic, that he is a worry to both of them for their health, well-being, and safety. You've dated him recently. What's your experience?
I would be afraid. He has told me many times that he was going to kill Laura first and also kill Nikki.
But now, there was a custody hearing recently, and you were actually there supporting Rick. If he's telling you about all of the killing all these people, what are you doing showing up in court supporting him?
This was after the court hearing. He told me at first that he was sorry that he was a monster to me and he would love to work it back out. And then I went to the hearing with him. I started realizing the guy has not changed. I felt like I was a pawn, that I was being flaunted to anger them. And soon he changed back to who he was. Next thing I know, he's kicking me out of the house again.
Okay, he said, when this is over, I will kill both of those bitches or get someone to.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so you didn't say any of that stuff.
I'd say that's the same, what I've been telling you. It's the same story that each one of them keep telling over and over.
All right. Up next, just when you think we've met all of Rick's exes, you're wrong. We have another one to add to the conversation, and you may be surprised to hear what she has to say.
Next week on an all-new Dr. Phil, caught in a love triangle.
Do you feel guilt for cheating on your wife?
I don't consider it cheating.
For the first time, the two women meet.
You keep kicking him out. That's stupid. Here you go. All yours.
Which one should he choose?
He wants me to decide.
I don't know what you think is so funny.
They're laughing because your narcissistic, self-serving bull is more than they can take.
Only Dr. Phil. Next week.
On the outside, Rick appears to be extremely successful and well-adjusted, but on the inside, he is really troubled. Rick owed the IRS approximately $150,000, but he continued to live somewhat of a flashy lifestyle. Rick owns a Harley-Davidson motorcycle and a pickup truck. He purchased a limited edition Corvette for approximately $100,000, and then after purchasing it, he put in a $10,000 sound system. Rick absolutely puts on a front.
Well, today, Rick seems to be facing a firing squad of exes who he claims have joined forces and are plotting against him. Now, believe it or not, we're going to add another ex-girlfriend to the mix. Now, just to make it clear, we've created a simple flowchart here. Rick first dated and married Nicole. Then he dated a woman named Shelley. Then Linda, then Laura, then back to Linda again. Well, who's next? Well, we don't know. But the second ex in this lineup, Shelley, says she doesn't hate Rick at all. In fact, she says he's always held a special place in her heart.
Rick and I have known each other for about 10 years, and we dated for about 4.5 years. Nikki and I actually had an altercation when Rick and I dated. It was during baseball. Nicole assaulted me. I did press criminal charges against her. And with Laura, when they broke up, I was at Rick's house because he needed someone to talk to. While I was there talking to Rick, she got very, very angry when she saw me, and she started screaming and cussing Rick out. She stormed out. She slammed the door. And after that, there's the huge altercation. I saw Rick. I saw the holes that she kicked in his wall. I saw the broken out windows. I saw the wounds that he had on his physical body. I was with Rick for a long, long time, and I can tell you right now that he is not an abusive man. He is not anything that these women claim at all.
Okay, well, Shelley is joining us on Polycom right now. So you've known him for 10 years. You dated him from like 06 to 2010, correct?
That's correct.
You never saw any of this behavior?
No, he didn't.
Shelley, you can say that after our conversation. You came up and hugged me and apologized for falsely put charges against me. You can honestly say, after everything that we talked about that day, he called you names. He called you smelly Shelley. He makes fun of you to everyone. Man, respect yourself.
That's your story. That's your story,
It's not my story. It's everyone. Everyone hears it. We talked about this.
I'm not going to get stuck in their drama. I have known Rick for 10 years. I have a lot of respect and a lot of love for him. And the one thing that I can tell you, this man loved his son. And for a mom to alienate her child should be a sin.
Stalking people, beating people is also a sin. Threatening to kill somebody is also a
criminal.
sin.
Did you punch her in the face at a baseball game?
No, sir.
You did not?
No, sir.
Yes, she did.
They did an investigation. They called me.
She hit her in the
and there
back
was
of the
no
head.
charges filed because there was no assault. And she actually apologized to me 3 years later at the grocery store.
All right, Shelley, did that happen at the grocery store?
I know. And the incident about the baseball
You
field...
didn't talk to me at the grocery store?
That did
You
not
did not have
also
a 30-minute
happen.
conversation with me at the grocery store?
No, Nicole. The difference is I don't have any ulterior motive in here. He's a good man. Dr. Phil is going to be able to see through your lies.
Okay, Linda, what do you want to say? I see you up there as well.
What kind of motive would I have?
Yeah.
Rick?
I broke up with her.
Now, Dr. Phil...
Asked her to leave, and that was it. She accused me of text messaging a girl, and I said, you know what? I'm getting accused of so many things right now. Just leave. Just leave my house. Just
same
go.
Pattern.
That was
always
it.
the same pattern.
Same pattern.
Yeah, it's
is.
always the same pattern because he dates the same kind of women.
You're in that group, Shelley. You're dating
All right, well, we have to take a break. We have to take a break. Coming up, we are going to hear from Nicole and Rick's 16-year-old son, who's caught in the middle of this chaos. And I asked Rick a question earlier. I said, have you done anything to give these women a reason to fear you, a reason to be afraid of you? He said, absolutely not. We'll talk about all that when we come back.
When my son was 13, Rick punched him as hard as he could in the chest. When my son was 14, Rick pinned him up against the dryer. At one point, Rick called him into his room so that he could witness him cleaning his gun and told him he needed to get an attitude adjustment, strictly to intimidate him.
Closed captioning provided by...
Nicole, her main focus in life is trying to assassinate my character and wreck my reputation. Nicole doesn't talk to me, but I know now that my son is scared of me based on the things that he's heard from his mother. My son turned 16 September 9th, and I wasn't even allowed to text him or tell him happy birthday. Makes me really sad.
Rick says the custody agreement with his ex-wife, Nicole, was fine until his ex-girlfriend, Laura, interfered. Now he's found himself back in court fighting for his son. I ask you, I said, is there any reason for these women to be fearful of you? You said no. And you say that your son's being alienated from you, not by you. Well, while Rick was dating Laura, they got into a fight, and Rick included his 16-year-old son in the text chain.
No.
And, well, actually you did. And it said, yeah, well, bleep you, you lying-ass whore. After that talk about keeping anything from me and you pull the same with your phone, well, bleep you, you lying, cheating skank. No wonder my PSA is high. You've given me an infection from that smelly, nasty bleep of yours. Better let whoever else you're bleeping know that you've given me something, stupid, skank, lying bleep.
Pretty bad. Gosh.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Now, you're the guy that just sit there and say, I have no idea why these women are saying these things about me. I have no idea why they say I'm a bad guy. I have no idea why they would be afraid of me. I have no idea why they would be responding to me in this way. Then I read this. This is from your phone.
Right.
Our IT people.
Right.
Went back through this, and your son is on this chain.
But nobody ever asked about to look at my phone and some of the things that she's written to
We've
me.
talked about all of that. I'm asking
my
you.
Phone.
You sent that to your son. What you were saying to her, you sent to your son. You wonder why he doesn't want to be around you?
Because you're a monster.
You send that stuff to your son.
Why?
Don't know. Don't remember doing that, actually. Don't. Maybe I thought I was texting to her.
You don't remember doing that?
I don't remember sending that to my son, no.
Do you drink too much?
No, I don't think so.
Do you do drugs?
No, sir, not at all.
You guys are railroading him. That's exactly what you're doing. You're railroading. Get the whole message.
See the message that they said about you, Shelley?
Okay,
No, you take what you're doing is you take little pieces and you make a big mountain over something that's real small.
Sending that message to a 15-year-old
is not small. It's wrong. He should be a better parent than that.
What you said to your son is wrong. You ain't
Totally well-adjusted. Man, can I join your church?
Just like the devil.
That is just like the devil.
Shelley?
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm very angry.
Shelley?
He does not deserve this.
I have read the entire text exchange. Is there a context in which the inclusions in those text messages would be appropriate?
You know what? It's not that it's ever appropriate to say words like that. It's not. But you have to look at the person themselves. You have to look at the hurt that they may be suffering at the hands of other people.
All right, we have to take a break. Up next, I want to hear from Rick's son. We're going to find out what he wants to say to his dad.
During our divorce, Rick submitted a tape trying to show the judge that I used the word. On the other side of the tape, he had also recorded a conversation between him and his father. In that conversation, he told his dad, you know what Nikki needs? She needs a bullet between her eyes and she needs to be put in the ditch, because that's the kind of piece of she is. When I heard that, I was shocked that he said it as if he was saying the sky was blue. I did get full custody when the judge heard the audio tape about Rick wanting to kill me. I fear for my life every day.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Molested by her grandpa.
When did this stop for you?
I was 15.
For over 10 years.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna stand out here and listen to your lies.
That's tomorrow.
Closed captioning provided by...
During my relationship with Rick, he's caused multiple injuries. He has given me a concussion. He tore the tendon in my thumb. He has slammed the door on my foot. I now have a fake nail on my toe because my nail's totally gone. And when he slammed the door, it cut the side of my toe. You can see the scar. I had about 7 stitches on my toe. Rick has cost me about $20,000 in medical bills and refuses to take any responsibility and help.
Okay, this is the voicemail that you wanted us to read?
Well, there's a text message that's pretty interesting from her.
Well, you
Linda.
said there were voicemails from
And then
Linda.
there's some voicemails.
You said you wanted to play them. Let's play them.
Okay.
Let's do it.
That we all know about, not only protect from my disease, questions if I have a disease or not. Touch Laura tonight and to Nikki. Wow. And you told Laura all that about me and my thought, and your mom and dad shamed me and they thought I was psycho?
She's had a little bit.
Oh my God, are you a freak? You're a freak boy. You're a sick. I'm so not scared of you. Try to come shoot me down. Little son of a bitch. You'll be shot down before you get to thinking about shooting me down. Wow, you're a drunk. You're the drunk. Everybody knows it. Wow.
I'm the drunk.
We compare notes all night tonight, and you're a son of a bitch. I guess you're that little fat motherfucker that everybody knows about, your best friend.
Why are you pointing at me?
You're so
I'm not pointing at you.
disgusting. I thought I had a disease, and I thought I had to go check to see if I have a disease.
Now, hold on.
Okay.
Hey, Elizabeth. Really? Talked to Laura about, and your mom and dad, they said I was a loser and I was a cheap little tramp, and you told Laura all this stuff. I've been talking to Laura and your wife, yeah, your ex. Wow, you are. I'm so glad that I'm not with you. I hope I don't have a disease from you and your fat chick that you're with every night. You're a mother. You're a rock. And I will stand by them on anything they need me to stand by. Can I say I have some insight to them that you gave me? Sick mother. Hi.
Yeah, she's proud of that. See, she'll do anything they need her to do.
That was obviously after she had contacted us.
So you wanted those played. So we played them. Now,
show you what kind of person that is and what she said right there. She's gonna what she was gonna do to help them with whatever they needed in this deal.
Did you purchase the ammo?
Of course I did. I have a right to do that.
So her telling us that was not a lie. It's not helping us or hurting us in any way because it's actually true.
That I bought ammo?
Right, an excessive amount.
Linda, did you want to say anything?
He purchased the ammo. It made me start thinking that he was probably going to follow through with what he was saying.
Well, you want us to play that, so does that help to put this in context?
Well, I thought it did. Maybe.
Okay, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, she'll do anything that she can do to help them.
Right.
Because
I broke up with her.
About how you're going to kill us.
No.
If you are going to be in the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL.
I dated Rick 5 months before I got pregnant. When Rick found out that I was pregnant, he immediately began screaming that I was a whore. He told me to get out, never see him again, swore that it wasn't his. He was not happy about the pregnancy the entire time. It definitely seemed like Rick wanted me to lose the baby. Now, my 16-year-old son is very scared of his father. When my son was 13, Rick punched him as hard as he could in the chest. When my son was 14, Rick pinned him up against the dryer. He's also intimidated him on several different situations. At one point, Rick called him into his room so that he could witness him cleaning his gun and told him he needed to get an attitude adjustment, strictly to intimidate him. Rick has driven everyone in his life away because of his abusive behavior. It was just a matter of time before my son was big enough to say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Rick says that his son loves him and sent us a note to prove it. Happy Father's Day, Dad. Thank you for loving me every step of the way. I hope you have a great day. You're a great dad and a great man. Love, and he signs his name, and we've blurred that out. That was this year.
This last Father's Day.
On Father's Day. Rick and Nicole's 16-year-old son is joining us on the phone right now. I cannot tell you how sorry I am that you're embroiled in all of this. What did you want to say?
I just wanted to say that the decision I made to leave my dad was one that I had thought of for a very long time, and I'm happy that I made that decision.
Tell me why you feel like you don't want a relationship with your father at this point.
One of my main reasons is just besides all of the stuff he's put me through, it's just there have been moments where he'll say that he's going to improve and that he's going to try, and then literally later that night he relapses with that behavior and he's the exact same way. I don't mean to come across as selfish, but it's I feel like he almost doesn't deserve to have a relationship with me because I've given him chances to, stand up and be a good dad, and he just, he continues to treat me how he does, and I don't think it's right.
You said at age 13, that'd be 3 years ago, that you had to drive your dad home in his Corvette because he was too drunk.
It was either age 13 or 14. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe it was one of those two.
Are you afraid of him at this point?
I'm not really afraid of him just because I'm away from him, but I would be afraid if I would have to go back to his house now.
Rick, you want to say anything to your son?
I can't believe that my son would say this to me. When I met my son for the very first time, I realized all I had ever wanted to be was a father.
He did a good way of showing it.
Okay, well.
I'm sorry that you've been pulled into all of this drama with all of these adult issues, and I want you to know that my number one goal for you here is to have a healthy relationship with both of your parents.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. All right, coming up, does Laura have an ulterior motive in helping Nicole? I'm going to ask her. Plus, is Rick truly a danger to these women? All of that when we come back. Closed captioning provided by... Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. I think you are a pretty impulsive guy. I think you say things you don't mean, and I certainly hope that you don't intend harm on these women or anyone else. You need to take the high road here. I want to reunify you and your son. I want you to have a relationship with your son, and I want you to be worthy of having that relationship with your son. Now, you can say these women are exaggerating and they're doing bad things too. The only person you control is you.
Right.
I suspect that you're drinking more than you admit to yourself or anyone else. And if you need help with that, I'll help you with that. If you need help with reunifying with your son, I'll help you with that. I will get you whatever kind of help I can to support you in getting to a healthy place in your life.
Okay.
And if I were you, I would be moonwalking out of this situation as fast as I can, as far as I can, and let this be repaired. You should support a healthy relationship between your son and his father.
Yes, sir.
A healthy. I emphasize the word healthy.
Yes, sir.
Not just any relationship, but a healthy relationship.
Yes, sir.
And I am going to bring some resources to bear for all of you to move towards that in a constructive way if you'll accept them.
I will.
And
Yes,
I hope you will. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And Shelley, I thank you for being here. Linda, I thank you for being here. I thank your son for weighing in. I hope he can be excused from all this drama at this point. If you need help moving on from an ex, log on to drphil.com. I'm going to have a lot of information on there. We've got to stop for now. But I am going to track this situation very closely, and we'll keep you posted. See you next time. Thanks so much. We'll get you some time to get back together with it more.